don't know who wrote that, but that is a lot of fun. Hey, everybody,
Yes.
it's Thursday night. I'm Walter, your independent travel advisor, and we've got Lylle from Norwegian Cruise Line. Hi, Lylle.
Hi, how are you guys? Happy to be
Uh,
here.
Yay, so excited. We tried this once before, and Mother
Yes.
Nature kind of zapped out the power.
Yes, it's
But you
been
know
tough.
what? We've
But
got
we're
a new ship
here.
to talk about. So, hey, we're
Yes.
here. So this is going to be a lot of fun. Hey, everybody. I see we got Tara, we got Joe, we got Betty, we got Jessica. Hey, everybody. Thanks so much for joining in. If you're new to the channel, I'm Walter, your independent travel advisor with Where's Walter Travel. And on Thursday night, we like to try to bring in some of our travel partners to talk about all things cruising and travel. And tonight, we're very honored to have Lylle from Norwegian Cruise Line. Oh, we have so much to talk about.
Yes, we
And
do. Lots and lots of
just
things to talk about.
yay, we were just talking about Northern Lights in Alaska, so we'll get to that in just
Yes.
a little bit. But let's just pretend people have been under a rock for a long time and have no clue what we're even talking about. Can you kind of like give us an overview of what Norwegian Cruise Line is?
Absolutely. So, Norwegian Cruise Lines has been in the industry for almost 60 years now. We are the
Wow.
innovators. For those of you that don't know, we were the first ones to come out with the brilliant idea of putting a ship as a destination.
Mm.
And prior to that, you used to use the ships to as a method of transportation from one port to another. Think of like the Titanic and the Queen Elizabeth and all those, Queen Mary, and long, long time ago, right? Um, so that's what ships were for that and for cargo. We were the first ones to come up with the idea of having the ship as a destination and as a
Wow.
tourism opportunity. And we were also the first ones, Walter, I'm not sure if you know, to actually own a private island in the Bahamas.
Oh, I did not know that.
Ah, yes, that's a fun fact. We were the
That's
first
cool.
cruise line to actually own a private island in the Bahamas, Grace
Oh,
Stirrup Key.
wow.
Yes.
Wow. It's the same
So
one.
we,
Oh, that's cool.
yep, yep. So we have been around for many years, and we are the innovators in the industry for quite a
Hmm.
few things. Um, Prior to one of the main things, and the one that stands out the most, I would say, is and I'm guilty. I spent 10 years prior to being with NCL at another cruise line, and I was used
Hmm.
to the early dining, late dining, and if you go to the early show, you go to the late dinner or vice versa. If
Right.
you have an
Right.
early dinner, then you have to go to the late show. So
Yeah.
um, we decided back in like 2010, if I'm not mistaken, when Epic came out, to start the whole freestyle concept.
Hmm.
Um, and back then, I'll never forget because I was working at another competitor. The commercials for NCL were, the blue men. I don't know if you recall this,
Yeah.
but all the blue
Yeah.
men at the pool, and then they would get up and have to go to dinner all together. And so that was those were the TV specs that we used to have, but it was trying to make
Yeah.
the point that we no longer did that. So
Right.
since
Right.
then, we've started the freestyle concept, which is pretty much giving your clients the ability to do their vacation at their own leisure, and if they choose to do dinner, late or
Hmm.
go to an early show, they can do that. They don't have to
Yeah.
have a set time. And
Right.
that to me, from a consumer perspective, not because I work for the cruise line, but from a consumer perspective, it's huge because I'm a single mom, and so raising my daughter, when she was
Aw.
little, she was Girl Scout, she was a volleyball player, she was a straight A student.
Holy
So
cow.
my life was based on her calendar and her agendas and everything that she had scheduled, to make sure that she was at the Girl Scout meeting at a certain time on Friday afternoons, and to make sure that Saturdays we were selling cookies at the Publix or at a volleyball tournament somewhere in Florida. And so everything was scheduled. So when I went on vacation, I didn't want to have to deal with a schedule as well. So to me, when I first cruised on NCL, it felt like, okay, I'm home. This is what vacation is. I don't have to deal with, I spent the whole day at the beach at one of the ports and then we're tired and my daughter's cranky because she wants to rest because she's, and now we have to rush to get ready to go to 5:30 dinner because that's the time that we're
Right.
scheduled. So
Right.
it just gave me that comfort level of, okay, I
Mhm.
can do, I can go back to the cabin, maybe take a nap or, get ready and have a cocktail and then go
Right.
to dinner. So to me,
Mhm.
that's huge, and that's why I said, from not because I represent the company, but from the consumer perspective, like to me, that's a huge thing. So free style concept, and our ships are purposely built to support that idea and to support that concept.
Yeah, and they really do. I mean, there are other ships that have introduced, my time, anytime, whatever, but they still lean in a lot into the fixed dining, and sometimes it just ends up being a big mess with these
Yep,
long lines and this,
yep,
that, and the other. Whereas Norwegian, pretty much the thing I really love, especially like on the breakaway class, is you have that one massive dining room in the back, and then you have the two smaller ones. So it's
yeah,
like, you know what? If you
yeah,
don't want to sit with the big crowd, come sit with the
yeah,
smaller crowd
and
and things like
and
that. Nice
and
touch.
that's one of the things is that I love too is the fact that if you go to if any of you are experienced cruisers and you've been in other cruise lines, you go into the main dining room and it can be a little overwhelming because most of them are like 3 decks high, and yes,
Yeah,
they have these beautiful chandeliers and what have you right in the middle, but they're like 2 and 3 decks high, and so it's
they
too
are.
many people coming in and out and sitting, and that too much traffic.
Yeah.
Where our main dining room is usually, and like you said, the breakaway class and forward, right, to the newer ships.
Mhm.
It's the Manhattan
Sure.
room, which is on deck 7 aft.
Beautiful.
It's a beautiful. It sits about maybe up to 1,000. So in some ships,
Hmm.
the larger ones, maybe 1,200.
Hmm.
Um, and then it has two supporting smaller main dining rooms that are on
Yeah.
deck six aft, which are
Hmm.
taste and savor, and they face each
Right.
other. And right in the middle is a beautiful martini bar that you can sit and I know it's one of my favorites. You can
Mhm.
sit there, you can have a drink, and just while you're waiting, just like if you were to go, say to a shoreside restaurant, and they tell you, okay, party of two, or party of four will be ready in 10 minutes, and then they come back. Meanwhile, you can order a cocktail, relax, and just wait for them to sit you.
It's nice. And another unique feature about the Manhattan room too is very often I've seen a band. You have a
Yep.
dance floor.
Yes.
I mean,
All the way in the
I don't
back.
know of another cruise ship that has a dance floor and a
Yeah.
bandstand in the main dining room.
Yeah.
It's awesome.
Yeah. It's pretty cool. And the first time that I saw that again was when the first time I cruised on NCL, which was on it was 2011, December 2011, and I went on Norwegian Epic, which
Oh,
Norwegian Epic is a completely different ship. It stands alone. It doesn't have any other sister ships. Um, so it was a little different coming
yeah.
from a very traditional cruise line.
Hmm.
I was a little surprised, but I was pleasantly surprised when I went to the main dining room
Yeah.
and I sat back there and they sat me near the dance floor and I got to see so many, I got to see grandma and grandson getting up to dance and grandma trying to teach them
Oh,
how to dance, and that it's just those are the moments that make someone's vacation special.
that is so sweet. And speaking of first time, I see Tara is going on your first NCL ship in 29 days. Yay, Tara, that's so
Wow.
awesome. You're sailing
Awesome,
the
Sarah.
sun. So that brings up a really good point, and I'm kind of jumping around
No,
here, but
that's fine.
one of the things that I bet a lot of people don't realize is that Norwegian has a pretty wide-ranging fleet of ships. Obviously, I showed the Encore, I showed the Escape, you saw
Yeah.
the Aqua, which we're going to talk about soon, but you actually have some lovely smaller to
Yeah.
mid-sized ships. I've sent a lot of clients on the Pearl, on the Gem, the Jewel,
Yeah.
that you really do have something for everyone in your
For
fleet.
everyone. Yeah, and again, we have currently Viva, which is our newest ship. She will be she was already delivered and she will be christened at the end of this month. So we're very proud and excited about that. She's a beautiful ship. Um, so she is our 19th vessel.
Wow.
Um, but
Wow.
prior to her, and prior to really the breakaway class, which is the breakaway, getaway, and then forward, which are the ships that you kind of were showing on your on the videos. We do
Mhm.
have smaller vessels that are within the 2,000 passenger range, 2,000 to 2,500, some close to 3,000, which are a little bit more intimate, not as many decks, and it still has a lot of amenities, but they're different. For instance, Spirit, Norwegian Spirit, we took down to the seal. We
Wow.
actually made that ship a more of an adults only kind of.
Mhm.
We removed the Splash Academy and the entourage on that ship, and that
Wow.
ship is the one that we have kind of like dedicated, if you think of, for our or one of our ships, I should say, that we're dedicating to the extraordinary journeys, which are those longer journeys with a lot more in depth to maximize the time that you have in ports. And because it's a
Sure.
smaller vessel, you're able to go into places that regularly the larger ships can't
Mhm.
bring you in. That you'd have to tender. So they're able to dock in some of the islands and places that the larger vessels can.
Right. And if you want to see her in all her glory, Ben and David and my dear friend Stephanie were on the Hawaii to Alaska run,
Okay, yeah,
and they documented the ship stunningly. So if y'all have not seen the ship
beautiful.
yet, it is gorgeous. Go to Ben and David, go to Sean and Steph, check out the Hawaii to Alaska. That was a 16-day cruise that started
Yeah,
in Hawaii, ended in Alaska.
yeah.
And that ship,
That's
my
called,
God, is it
just so
beautiful.
that for those of you that don't know, that's called the fire and ice itinerary, because you
Yes.
start, with volcanoes in Hawaii, you end up in Alaska with the glaciers, or
Yeah.
vice versa. We also do it, coming down.
Nice, nice. And I'm going to tease a little something right now. Right before we came on the air, Lily actually offered a little benefit for those of you. She likes us so much that she's going to offer you guys a little something special if you book with us for the next week.
Yep.
Lily, why don't you go ahead? Why don't you do the honors?
Sure. So I was talking to Walter, and I asked him how many people, do you get like interested in booking and their vacation after they watch one of these shows. And he said, we get some interest. So I figured, why not, incentivize you a little bit and give you an additional $50 Umber credit. So that is $50 of spending money once you book your vacation with Walter, between tomorrow, Friday, the 10th and the 17th. So you have a whole week to decide what itinerary you're interested in. Talk to Walter. He is a guru in all this. That's why we're doing this. He's extremely knowledgeable and he knows what to vacation and type of vessel you will be more, I guess, fitted to, if you
Yeah.
may. And so, and he also has a group going somewhere that, well, I'll let him talk about that one. But, um, but he, yes, will do an additional $50 Umber credit, for any booking that you guys do between tomorrow and next Friday.
How about that? And she said it will be applicable to our group, which Lily just mentioned. And we have a $100 onboard credit, and Lily's like, oh yeah, I'll apply that to that too. So the Norwegian Aqua, which we're going to talk about more in just a few minutes, but this is just a stunningly beautiful ship that you guys have just announced. She's coming to Port Canaveral. This is actually going to be one of the first cruises. She's coming out in April. We've set up the group for Memorial Day weekend, May 31st through June 7th, and I see Kurt is joining in. Kurt is it's gonna be booked on this ship tomorrow, and but we are offering the Norwegian Aqua group cruise out of Port Canaveral, 7 days Eastern Caribbean. And now Lily's throwing in this little extra bonus here. In fact, I'll just move that out of the way for a second. In addition to what she's doing, because we have a group, we actually have savings on the cabins for a short time. It's not like unlimited. We're going to have savings all the way up until, but for a small window, we can give you even like great savings where sometimes you can get the cabins with the free at sea for less than the standard price, which is amazing. So so we have the group coming. So anybody who wants to come along on that, I can't wait to meet the ship. It's going to be amazing. Oops, wait a minute. I got the wrong thing. There we go. Yeah, very excited. But you see what Kurt is saying? He went on the Norwegian Windward in 1993. Holy cow.
For your honeymoon. Oh my gosh, that's awesome.
Did that ship have the sails and the mast on it? I mean, what? 93. Wow. Holy cow. I'm going to have to look that up after the show and see what that was, Kurt. That's amazing. But yeah, he's on the Aqua. He is on Lucky Deck 13. I love that you guys have a Deck 13. I think that's fabulous. That's fabulous. And Tara, you're going on a 12-day Eastern Caribbean. Wow. That is going to be absolutely lovely. Thank you so much.
Norwegian Sun is a beautiful ship as well. So you will enjoy it. I just had another travel partner, get off sailing on Norwegian Sun, and they absolutely loved it.
And that is one of the things. Sorry.
No, that's fine. Send me an email just to say the ship is beautiful. I loved it.
And one of the things that we do pride ourselves on is finding the right ship. A lot of times people will ask us, what cruise line should we go on? And it's always about the cruise line. And it's like, no, it's really about the ship too. It's like, well, who has the right ship for you? And you have such a wide range of ships and experiences to choose from that, if you don't want the big family ship, you have have an answer for that.
We also have, which we haven't talked about, and I'm gonna, because again, when it comes down to innovation and
you froze up just a little bit. I don't know if that's me or you. There you are. All right.
No,
you're back.
Saying no one does Hawaii the way that we do. NCL is the only cruise line in the industry that has what we call inner island. We leave out of Honolulu. We sail for 7 days and we come back to Honolulu year round every Saturday on Pride of America. We visit 4 islands. We overnight in 2 of them. So it gives you the convenience of having to unpack once when you come on board the ship and pack again the night before you leave. But you get to visit 4 different islands, where if you do this in a land-based vacation, right, you'd have to, let's say, go to Honolulu, for instance, which is in Oahu, and you go to Honolulu and you want to go to any of the other islands, say the Big Island, Hawaii, or Maui, and you'd have to book, 1, your transportation, which is a small seaplane, and 2, you have to then book hotels and find meals and all that for the other island, where on Pride of America, you sail there. So you spend the day in an island and one of the ports. You come back to the ship, you eat, have dinner, maybe watch a show, go to sleep, and then you wake up the next day in a different island, except for when we do the overnight in those 2 islands. So something to think about. Definitely the convenience, and you can always pair it up with, since you're going all the way to Hawaii, why not add the 3-day prior cruise tour?
Hmm.
Um, and really take advantage, immerse yourself in the culture, and you know
Yeah.
enjoy the time over there. So, other cruise
Hmm.
lines and even ourselves, we have other sailings that leave from you know California or
Sure.
Seattle, but then you spend 5 days at sea,
Hmm.
and the crossing sometimes, not to say all the time, can be a little rough.
Yeah.
And then you go to maybe two of the islands in Hawaii. So you don't get to see as much of Hawaii as you do when you actually do inner island sailing. And the reason we're able to do that is because we're the only cruise line in the industry that has a U.S. flagship. That means
Hmm.
that Pride of America is, as opposed to all of our other ships that may be registered in the Bahamas or Panama or Balta,
Hmm.
we are that one ship. Pride of America is registered in the U.S. and she has our U.S. flag.
Hmm.
So
Yeah. And for those of you who don't really know what we're talking about, there is a law in the United States from the 1800s, with Marshall Act. I can't really remember the name of it now, but
it's the
basically
Jones
that law
Act.
is the Jones Act. That's
The
it. And
Jones Act.
in very simple terms, the law says if you do a closed loop cruise that starts and ends in the same U.S. port, it must go to a foreign port somewhere
Exactly.
along the journey, and that's why everybody goes to Ensenada. That's why we go to Victoria. That's why
We
there's
touch
always
in the
that stop.
Bahamas. We touch,
Yeah,
always you
yeah.
have to touch an international port.
So touching
Um,
internet and like for 3 hours or something like that, three or
yeah,
4 hours.
yeah.
But with the Pride of America, since she's actually registered in the United States, that's why she's able to do the closed loop cruise right around
So,
Hawaii
yeah,
without coming out. And it really is a different experience.
it is.
It
It is.
really is.
It is. It's a
So,
different and I believe in setting up the right expectations. It's not your typical cruise. For instance, it doesn't have a
right.
casino. So if you're a gambler and you're looking to go gamble in Hawaii, well, sailing on Pride of America, you're going to be extremely disappointed because you won't be able to do it. But
Right.
you're there to see and think as a floating city, as a
Hmm.
floating hotel that's just going from one island to the other one, so that you get to experience and enjoy the time
Yeah.
on the port.
Yeah. And if you guys want to see another one of my favorite vloggers, Paro DJ, they were on the Pride of America, I want to say about 5 or 6 months ago. In fact, shortly thereafter, they were on the NCL Spirit with Ben, David, and Steph, which was
Okay.
interesting to see that. But if you all want to see what the Pride of America looks like and what that actual cruise looks like, it looks like a lot of fun. Paro DJ did it. I want to say maybe around April, May, they did it. So you can certainly go find it over there. Hey, Betty, how are you? Oh, wow. You went on a repositioning from Long Beach to Vancouver. That's
Wow.
become, people are starting to request that now with me, that they want like that specific itinerary. It's like a
Open
wine
doors
tour.
and yep, that's the wine
Yeah.
tour. You hit
Yeah.
Astoria. Yeah, it's a beautiful tour. It's
That's
on
nice.
my to do. One of my bucket lists. I have
Oh
quite
my
a few.
God. My list is so long right
Have
now.
you
It's not
seen
even
the
funny.
new one? The new itinerary that's from Honolulu to and it touches in the French Polynesian islands. We go to
I have
Bora
somebody booked
Bora,
on that.
Fiji. Oh my
The
goodness gracious,
Spirit, right? You're talking about the Spirit.
that
Yeah.
we have an amazing itinerary on that one, and it's
Yeah.
the only thing. It's 14 days if I'm not mistaken, or
Or
11 or
28 if
14
you want to do the whole
or
thing.
20 days if you yes. And as much as I was talking to my boss about it, I was like, do you think maybe like what about doing a seminar at sea or something?
Yes. 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 I'm
Right?
raising my hand.
Oh
Boss,
my
if you're
gosh,
watching, I'm raising my
Boston,
hand. Yes. Please.
Fiji,
Please.
all those.
That sounds great.
Just
So,
can you
for
imagine?
those of you watching, a seminar C is exactly what you think it is. We do training on the ship, but we would be
It's a
going
lot of
to
work.
Polynesia. So come on.
It's a lot of work. It's a lot of work. There's a
Oh
lot
my
of training
God.
involved.
Yes, it's a lot of work. Wink, wink, nudge, nudge. No, there's a lot of training involved. Yes, we're on a cruise ship, but we're working, doggone it.
Yep.
But now that I've been doing this, we've been doing this just over a year now, and all of my cruises are working vacations now. So
You know,
it is what it is. It is what it is. Folks, by the way, if you're watching and you've got any kind of questions at all about Norwegian Cruise Line, please feel free to drop them in the chat. I mean, you've got about another 35 minutes or so with Lylle. She's right here. So if you want to ask questions
right
to
here.
Norwegian Cruise Line, this is your opportunity. And if there's anything we can do to help you with your travels on Norwegian Cruise Line, where's waltertravel.com. There's links in the description to get in touch with us, or you can go. We have a beautiful web page on everything Aqua for this group cruise. Why don't we just start talking about the Aqua? We've been staring at the picture of it right next to you the whole time. If you have not seen it yet, this ship is absolutely stonking gorgeous. Look at this hull work. Holy cow.
The whole art is beautiful, very colorful, very lively. But the ship, it's about, so, you know, when it first came out, it's, the tagline for it is making waves, right? So it's all about that. It's how do we make, and by making waves is how do we make, you know, memories? How do we make those experiences for the clients to really get to enjoy their vacation, to make those memories, to make those moments be last a lifetime, you know? So making waves together.
And this is technically a Prima Plus ship, right? She's
It is a Prima Plus. Yes, it's a little bit larger as far as the tonnage, right? Not necessarily the amount of passengers.
That's awesome. That's
but
awesome.
The tonnage, there's more open spaces, a lot more open spaces, a lot more. So one of the things that I know that they did, and I see that you have the Aqua Slide coaster. We did away from the racetrack that was on that same section, which was a 3-story, 3-deck racetrack. And we put this Aqua Slider. Now it's somewhat of it's a mixture between an Aqua Slide and a roller coaster. So it's a hybrid. You actually have to sit on like a little chair, like a, you know, you're not on a mat, or you're actually sitting on a chair, and you get to do this. So it's pretty cool, different. I'm excited. I can't wait to try it and do it. And it goes around. It actually comes out. If you see the picture right on the top, the greenish one comes out actually, and it's clear. That portion that comes out of from like the side of the ship, or the back of the ship, I should say. And it goes really all around the back of the ship. One of the other things that we've done, that we've learned from our previous ships, is the waterfront. So the waterfront is my absolute favorite spot on the ship. And I have a funny story to tell you about the waterfront on Breakaway. The waterfront, to me, tends to be a little bit small, and I'll tell you my story why I think they're small. But now on Norwegian Aqua, we have actually expanded the waterfront. So the waterfront, for those of you that are not aware or not familiar with our Breakaway class ships and Breakaway Plus ships, the waterfront is on deck 8, and it's an outer deck that it's opened.
It's my favorite part of the entire ship.
Yeah,
I love sitting out there.
So when you are sitting in the main dining room or sitting on any of the other dining rooms, the ships nowadays are so big that you forget that you're in the middle of the ocean. And we wanted to, when Breakaway came out, we wanted to reconnect back with the ocean. So what we did was we came out with the concept of the waterfront. It's a deck that is open, has glass throughout, and so you can actually sit there and see the ocean. And the beautiful thing about it is that you can sit have a cocktail there. There's actually throughout the deck as you walk along, you can
Right.
have bars. You
Hmm.
can also have little couches and chairs, like sitting areas where you can just sit, read a book, have a cocktail, take a nap,
Right.
maybe. Um, and then there's also the opportunity to have dinner in one of the
Mhm.
specialty dinings, either inside like you regularly would on any other ship, or al fresco,
Right.
which brings you back to okay, you're sitting in Miami Beach, South Beach, and you can actually sit and see the sunset, and enjoy
Yep.
that view. Um,
Yeah.
it's something that we came out with that concept back with Breakaway, and
Hmm.
we've added that to every single new ship, new
Beautiful.
build that we've had. So with Norwegian Aqua, we actually extended the 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 deck outside. And my little story on that is Breakaway came out. We had three Breakaway events, inaugural events, right? And the
Mhm.
inaugural events are the christening events, and we have always a lot of travel partners and media come on board. And as
Right.
part of the sales staff, we are the ones doing the tours of the ship.
Right.
Well, so by the third one, I'm exhausted. I had been doing haven tours every single day for 8 hours for the past week, pretty much. And so I was tired. So I said, I had a break. And I was like, you know what, I don't have enough time to go back to my cabin, but I can go sit outside and hide from everyone. So I
Sure.
walked out on deck 8 to go to the waterfront area to find a little sitting area that's
Hmm.
behind two windows that way no one can see me. And as soon as I get there, the whole team is there. My whole team was including my boss. And so imagine my surprise. And when they saw me, they just laughed and said, "You're taking a break, right? Come sit with us." And so we just sat there for
It is
15
nice.
minutes hiding. But it's one of my absolute favorite areas on
Yeah,
the ship.
and you've turned it into the Ocean Boulevard, which of course is the one picture I
The
didn't
Ocean
bring
Boulevard,
along with
right?
us. But the waterfront, we literally have spent days just sitting out
Yeah,
there. And what's lovely about it, if you want to sit in the sun, you sit on one side of the ship. You want to sit in the shade, sit
yeah,
on the other side of the ship.
yeah,
It's so beautiful.
yeah.
I don't
Yeah.
know. I don't know if you can answer this, but Nurse Tara is asking if you're going to schedule any more ships out of Baltimore.
So we have itineraries coming out. And off the top of my head right now, I can't think of
Yeah.
dates. So I do apologize for that, but I will get back to Walter with that answer so he can communicate that back to you. I do know we have sailings out of Baltimore, but I don't have the actual schedule right now on top of
Okay.
mind. So I do apologize for
Okay.
that.
No, nothing to apologize for. A lot of times people ask me questions. I'm like, I just don't have the Rolodex in my head. I mean, you just work with Norwegian. I work with so
You work
many.
with everyone. I
It's
know.
like,
I
I don't
know.
know. Hey,
I
when's
know.
the next sailing on this? I'm like, let me go get my notes. But Tara, yeah, we'll try to get you an answer. And just to remind everybody, Lylle has graciously offered if you book a Norwegian cruise with us over the next week, starting tomorrow, Lylle is happy to add another $50 on board credit. Now, that won't be added until you get closer to the sailing, because obviously we need to wait till you go through final payment and all of that good stuff. And she is also going to allow us to put that onto the group. Now, the group is going to get $100 on board credit, and she's graciously going to allow that to go onto the group as well. So just reach out. Where's waltertravel.com? Links in the description down below. So thank you, Lylle, for
Of
offering that.
course.
That is truly, truly awesome. Um, Nurse Tara, actually, it is customary for all cruise lines to do that. I mean, they only have like the major home ports are going to be like New York, Fort Lauderdale, Miami, but even there, the ships rotate in and out.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um,
So
so
what happens, especially with, so if you think of NCL as we're one of the top three cruise lines, but we're the smallest of the top three cruise lines, right? The other ones have 33 ships, 20 some ships. I don't know how many ships. We have 19 ships.
Mhm.
So in order for us to maximize our fleet, we rotate, and it's not necessarily that yeah, we do rotate them, and so we have ships
Mhm.
when it's the summer. We send the ships to Alaska. We send the ships to Europe.
Right.
In our winter, we send a lot of some of the ships to go down to South America, which is their summer, and through
Mhm.
like January to March, we have
Right.
sailings that are from Chile to Buenos Aires, Argentina, or Brazil and Buenos Aires, Argentina, and you can actually book them back to
So
back, and
cool.
you won't touch the same port twice. So we do have those sailings and we do have those itineraries.
Mhm.
But for that, we have to rotate. And so in the winter, we bring them back. And so they're back here. But obviously, when I say back here, we have them in Miami, but we come back to the main ports and then New York. But from New York, for instance, instead of doing to Bermuda, that's too cold, we go down all the way to the Caribbean. And so we do 10, 14 night Caribbean out of New York.
Right.
Um, so Baltimore, just like Boston, for instance, when we have full foliage, it's a beautiful season, but it's very short. So it's maybe
Right.
2 months of the year that we
Yeah.
have those sailings leaving from Boston to Quebec and, repositioning. So yeah, it's customary that you have in smaller ports where
Yeah.
it's more of a driving market, that we
Mhm.
have ships that are there just for short periods of time.
Right. Right. Celeste, I see you're asking about port fees. Now, port fees are only going to be, I don't know, like $10 to $15. In some cases, maybe $35. So that should be an automatic thing. Make sure that you did see it because I mean it's a small amount. So it's like you pay $112 for 4 or 5 ports. So if you're going to get a refund, it's going to be a very small amount. But that should have been an automatic thing. Generally, when a cruise ship misses a port, like the port fees get wiped out, your shore excursions that you book just get wiped out. Right, Lily?
Yeah, that's the way that it should work. So yeah, go
Yeah.
back to your folio and make sure that it wasn't, overlooked, because
Hmm.
it's such a small amount that you could have gotten the credit and not realize that you got the credit.
Yeah, or they may have even rolled it into, like, sometimes I've seen it where they roll it into an onboard credit and you end up spending it and you didn't realize you
Right.
spent it. So I would
Right.
certainly go back and look at your folio very, very closely because that's going to be a small amount of money. It's not going to be like something big. It's going to be a very small amount. Rick, yes, the agua, the agua, it's aqua. I know it actually does look like agua in that
It
graphic,
does
doesn't it?
look
But
like
the
agua.
it's just the font. The Aqua will be sailing out of Port Canaveral
Yeah.
on March 31st. Again, she's coming over in April, so this is going to be one of the very first sailings when we
Yeah.
get to come on her. I know some folks who are actually already booking the transatlantic to come over on her.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, Rick, this will be out of Port Canaveral. And for very, very, very limited time and a very limited inventory, we have specials on certain categories, as well as Lylle. If you book within the next week, Lylle is now offering an extra $50 on board credit, which is amazing. So yeah, I'm so excited about this one. It's 7 days. It's got a
Yeah.
great
So,
itinerary.
so for that group, then if they booked during this week that they put deposit, that they would end up with $150 of spending money, right? Am I correct?
They would. They would, because
That's a
we're giving
lot.
the. I mean, what's nice about the groups, so everybody knows the free SC program, or maybe you
Hmm.
don't. Norwegian has probably one of the best amenities packages in the business, where you basically get the drinks, you can get a specialty meal or 2 or 3, you get Wi-Fi, you get shore excursion credit, and really all you have to do is pay the gratuities on the drinks, the gratuities on the meals.
Hmm.
But when you do a group, we can add a 5th amenity on top of that, or a 3rd amenity on top of the interiors. And that extra amenity that we're offering is the $100 on board credit.
Yeah.
and then Lily's throwing in the $50. So yes, you can get $150 onboard credit if you book this cruise within the next week.
That's awesome.
Which would be awesome.
That's awesome.
Yeah,
that's a great deal.
Awesome.
That's a
it
great
is
deal.
a great deal. Oh, and by the way, another great deal. Cruise First is another great deal.
Yeah.
I don't want to confuse anybody, but basically, what Norwegian does is they offer a gift certificate, if you will, to put towards a deposit. You pay either $150 or $250, depending on which one they're offering right now, and Norwegian doubles it.
Yep, that's exactly it. Free money.
What is the typical deposit for this and other Aqua cruises? You're looking for 2 rooms for a total of 7 folks, 3 kids. Already have 2 NCL. Wow! Oh, you're going on Pride of America. Nice,
awesome.
Nice. I'm going to bring us. Wait a minute. I'm going to bring us back up here so we can talk. There we go. So typically the deposit is what? It's like around $125 per person. Typically, $250.
No, so it's $250 per person. Right now,
$250 per person.
Right. It's $250 per person, total $500 for the cabin. Now, we may have some promotions going on where the deposit is only $125, so it comes out to the $250. Where that's the wonderful thing, though, of buying this Cruise First certificate, if you've never cruised with us before, is because you paid that, either the $150 or the $250, and you apply that to the cabin as a deposit, and we actually kind of match it, if you think of it that way. It counts as a full deposit. It's what it counts for. Right. So that's one of the beauties of having this. But normally our deposits are $250 per person. Again, sometimes we have promotions, and especially right now that we're going into the holidays, we may have reduced deposit promotions, I should say, where maybe $150 per person, maybe $125.
Gotcha. And that's great, man. The Pride of America. And by the way, the Aqua has cabins up to 8 people on the, up in the Haven. Yeah, you've got up to 8 people, and you've got suites that offer butler service that are not in the Haven.
Yeah.
I was very intrigued by that. I'm like, well, wait a minute. And since I've mentioned a couple cabins, this is a balcony that I'm going to show you. Look how beautiful.
Very
absolutely
sleek,
beautiful.
Very modern looking cabins. And if you notice, right under the bed, not only are the cabins big, but when the storage room that we have available, so for instance, suitcases, luggage, all fits under the bed. So you unpack and you can actually put your luggage right under the bed, and you don't have to worry about seeing the luggage until you're ready to pack again. So, but if you notice the view of the cabin, it looks bigger, which is what I was referring to. Tonnage, yes, not necessarily in number of passengers, but that's because we made the cabins bigger to be more comfortable at sea.
They're beautiful. They're absolutely beautiful. And this is just one. I mean, they've really done a nice job with them. And then the side feature of it, the side photo of it was beautiful too. But I really wanted to show you this. And by the way, Douglas, just reach out. We'll be glad to set you up with this. And this is really fun. I don't even know what to make of this. This is going to be so fun when we actually see this. Folks, that's an LED floor on the basketball court, on the sports court, that will also turn into a nightclub at night as well.
Well, I mean, really, yes.
What can you tell us about this one, Lily?
Just a little bit of it. What you're looking at is our sports complex, and well, on all the other ships, you have the basketball court, and yes, the same court can turn into a tennis court or it can turn into a volleyball court. But during the day, especially when you're cruising in the Caribbean, it gets very hot in there. The court itself gets very hot. So this one, because it has the lines are actually LED, so when they're playing basketball, it's gonna be set up with the lights are the ones that are gonna line and kind of like draw the court on the floor, if you think of it that way. Same thing for like your volleyball court and anything else that you may play
Wow.
on. But the great thing about it is it turns into the a nightclub for the teens.
That's awesome.
So at night, then that shuts down. Not that it shuts down. It just turns into a nightclub for the
Yeah.
teens. So it gives the teens
Great.
uh, their own space for them to also enjoy vacation. And if any of you
Mhm.
have teenagers or have had teenagers, and tell you from experience, if they're not happy, you're not happy. So
Right.
it is great to have a space for them. It is wonderful for them to have their own space in a
Yeah.
controlled environment, where they can actually enjoy their vacation as well and feel, a little bit of liberty without, or independence, I should say, without
Sure.
um, being completely let go of and not
Yeah.
safe. So it's a great area for them.
It looks like so much fun. And
Yeah.
here's a picture that I think is going to shock a lot of you. I'm going to show you this. This is not, I repeat, this is not the Haven. This is the main pool
Yep.
on the Aqua. Look at this. Does this look
Look
like
at
a
the
Norwegian
lounge
ship?
chairs.
Wow. Wow.
They
I
have
mean, that
they
looks
look
like
like
the
the
Haven, you
Haven.
know?
Yep. They look like the
Yeah.
Haven lounge chairs. And for those of you, I don't
Wow.
know that everyone's familiar with the Haven. So let me just touch a little bit on the
Yes.
Haven. The Haven is our luxury suites ship within the ship concept, and I know that you hear that a lot now, but again, we were the innovators and the first ones to come up with that concept.
Mhm.
So we have, and we say the ship within the ship because the Haven actually does have a butler area, their own restaurant, their own pool and courier area, a lounge, a bar, everything that you could possibly want. And it's only key card access, right? So only those guests that are actually staying in one of the suites within the Haven can
Mhm.
have access to the amenities within the Haven. You have your
Yeah.
own butler. Your butler will pick you up. So they will meet you. You get to check in a separate room um, at the pier.
Yeah.
And when you're there, you have a butler that will come meet you, take your luggage, whatever carry-ons you have, whatever bags you have. They will
Mhm.
take them for you. They will walk you over to the ship, go through the gangway. Once you're on board the ship, they bring you to the elevator, which is blocked for Haven guests only. And they
Mhm.
bring you up to the Haven. Once you're there, they introduce you to your concierge. Concierge will actually book any excursions, book any dining, anything that you may think of. They are gonna take care of that for you. And
Yeah.
then they introduce you to the butler that you will have for the week, and they will escort you to your room. Everything from unpacking to packing for you. Um, they take care of everything. Literally, will take care of and handle everything. So much so that if you have a dinner reservation at one of the dining rooms outside of the Haven, say one of the specialty dining rooms or the main dining room. Sometimes people actually do like to go to the main dining room.
Mhm.
Um, you will have a butler escort you to the dining room from your stateroom, from your suite to the dining room. Let's say that you then are going to go to the show. Well, you have the butler pick you up after dinner and walk you to the show, to the theater, bring you to a select area where it's only for Haven guests. So you can, while all of us are showing up 30 minutes before to find good seats, you get to show up 5 minutes before and you walk in right onto
Sure.
the Haven guest area. So talk
Yeah.
about
Right.
full pampering and luxury at sea with
And
all
and
the
when we
amenities of a
Mhm.
large ship, right? Because
Right.
we have our sister ships or sister brands, but you lose all the entertainment and everything else because there's such
Right.
m- smaller vessels, right?
Right.
Um, so you
Right.
have the luxury without losing the amenities of a large ship.
It's almost like being in Las Vegas, right? So you're in your beautiful pampered hotel, and then you say, you know what, I'm going to go out to the strip for the night,
Yeah,
and
that's
that's
a
the rest
good
of the
way of
ship.
thinking.
I'm going to go
The
see
rest,
the shows. I'm going to go to the restaurants, and then I'm going to come
that's a
back to my little suite. Yeah,
that's a good way of thinking about it.
so that's why we work so well together here, Lily.
Yes,
See,
yes, yes. I'm
got
loving
it
it.
going on. But and for those of you who have been on Norwegian ships, I mean, this does look kind of like the Haven
Yeah,
is that elevated experience, and clearly
yeah,
the Aqua is bringing an elevated experience to the entire ship,
yeah,
not just. So I can't even imagine what the Haven looks like if this is what
yeah,
the main
yeah,
pool
yeah.
looks like.
Exactly,
And while
exactly.
Lily was talking, I popped up the Aqua Vibe Beach Club, which is just, I
Another.
mean, that bar,
Look at that.
wow, absolutely stunning. And
So
oh, go ahead,
you
go ahead.
you can always ask Walter for it if you're cruising, but just so that you know, for the Aqua, the Vibe Beach Club, there's only a select number of seats available. You have to purchase them. You used to not be able to purchase them online. You had to wait until the first day when you come on board, and it was one of those
Right.
things that within 30 minutes they were sold out. Because I think
Yep.
depending on the ship, because not all the ships are have the same space.
Same size.
So depending on the ships, it's anywhere between 80 and some of them to maybe 100, 120 at most, and the larger ones. So, but it gives you access to that private area. It's an adult only. You have bar service. You can actually go get food and come back. It's a pass for the whole. You can either purchase for a day or for a week.
Wow.
Um, and you
Yeah.
get to enjoy that without having to be, in the middle of all the action, right? Because sometimes the pool can be
Right.
loud. You have the band, you have the
Right.
DJ, you have. So sometimes, you want a little bit more relaxation, and
Yeah.
that's what Aqua, the Vibe Beach Club is.
Yeah. And that's nice that right, you can now book it in advance because we do go on those cruise lines and literally we get on the ship and we make a beeline right
Yeah,
for that.
yeah.
Whatever it is, we got to go there now to get our space, or we're not going to get our space.
Or
But
you're
it's
not
kind of
gonna
nice
get
that you
it.
can actually get it in advance. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I can't believe it, Lily. We've been talking almost an hour already. And
Yes.
there's a couple of fun things that I wanted to ask. And folks, if you got some more questions, please drop them in there because we're starting to get towards the end here. And I'm going to remind everybody, I'm going to pop this up while we do these questions, that if you book with Where's Walter Travel between tomorrow and November 17th, and we book you on a Norwegian ship, as long as you get all the way through final payment, Lily's going to go ahead and add $50 onboard credit. That includes the group cruise, which already comes with 100. So you get 150 onboard credit if you book within the next week. So that's awesome, Lily. So let's hit this. How about your favorite specialty restaurant or meal on
Uh,
Norwegian?
okay. That's hard because I love Cagney's, right?
Oh,
I love the filet mignon, and I love the fact that they bring you the different. Um, so your main dish they bring to you, right, which is the filet mignon, or the steak,
right.
or but then the sides are always they can be shareable, like family, style, and so they'll bring like the asparagus or that mac and cheese. That mac and cheese, let me tell you.
Oh, so good.
Mm.
So good. Everything, all those
The
sides.
truffle fries. Oh my gosh, they're just. It's too late to have dinner now, but yes. But so that's so I love Cagney's. I really do. But um, and Cagney's is a restaurant that you can find. It's one of our specialty. It's our steakhouse, Chicago style steakhouse. You can find in all of our
Yeah,
ships. But
nice,
the
nice.
Food Republic,
My,
the Food Republic.
that's
Yes,
me. That's me. Oh my God.
that is.
Food Republic is the most amazing dining
It is.
experience on any ship.
Yes, and the thing is that we only have from Breakaway
I know.
onward, right?
I know. I know.
So that's why I'm kind of like, if I'm sailing on any other ship that's not a breakaway class ship or new
Oh,
build, I'll go to Cagney's.
good
But if
call.
I'm sailing on breakaway plus, or the Prima,
Hmm.
um, the Food Republic is definitely,
Ooh,
I must,
so much
and this
fun.
is, it's fun. It's very, again, family style sharing. You have iPads on every table, and you get to select what you want. And it's somewhat of like an Asian fusion, but there's some Latin mix in there. Because you have rolls, but then you also have like the Peruvian skewers, which are very spicy, and then there's so many different things and options, and you can share everything because
Yeah.
they're kind of like rolls, that they bring out to you, and you can, each one on
Mhm.
the table can choose to get one thing, one item, and then you put it
Yeah.
all there and you're sharing everything. So to me, that it,
So good.
that's a fun experience to have on a ship.
Yeah. And just to give you folks an idea, we were on the Escape for 7 nights. We went 3 times, never ordered. Well, we purposely ordered one thing all
Because
three
it's the
times,
one
but
thing that you
everything
really
else,
like.
yeah. But
Yep.
everything else, it was just like there's so much on that menu, and they have so much fun serving you in those
Yeah.
restaurants.
Yeah.
So fun.
Yeah.
Um, how about what's your recommended cocktail? What is your go-to cocktail?
Okay. So I am a Scotch kind of girl. I love my Scotch.
Oh,
Yes.
nice.
But when I am at sea, one of the beautiful things about the free at sea offer is that it includes the drink package if you select to choose the drink package, right?
Right.
And for those of you watching, no, I don't drink a lot, but
Hmm.
with the drink package, I can be a little bit more adventurous and try a few things here and there, because if I don't like it, guess what? I don't have to pay for it. I can just put it aside, give it back to the bartender, and ask them for my go-to, which is my scotch. So on our ships, we have the sugar cane mojito bar. And one of the things that I love, it's, so technically, in order to be a mojito, it has to be with rum. I personally don't like rum, so I asked them to substitute it. I know, I'm crazy.
Okay.
Um,
Okay.
I asked them to substitute the rum for vodka, and it is a pineapple coconut mojito. It is
Wow.
the most refreshing and light drink you can think of. And again,
Ah.
because I don't drink it with rum, is not as sweet. Um, so is that, yeah, I'd have to say, if I'm gonna say a cocktail, I'd have to say the pineapple coconut mojito.
Nice. Oh, I like it. So I'm always an old fashioned kind of a guy.
Okay.
That's what I do. And Tobacco Road,
Uh huh.
that was on the Escape.
Yeah.
Wow. That's my
Yeah.
favorite bar on any
Yeah, it
ship,
is. It is.
any of the Norwegian ships. Great
I have
bar,
to
great
tell you,
bartenders.
of all the
But
ships, Escape is one of my favorite ones. I have very, very nice memories on that ship.
great ship. But the mojito bar, if you go when they do the demonstration and they do the little flight of thing,
Yeah.
that's like the most fun that you
Yeah.
can have. That is such a cruise ship experience. It's so
Yep.
fun.
Yep. It is.
And I see Rick is saying he has to try Food Republic. You do. So I'm going to throw one more. You already told us your favorite hangout, which is me too. The
Yeah.
waterfront is unlike anything else out there. It is so
Yep.
lovely. I can't wait to
Definitely.
see what Ocean Boulevard is. But as a last question to you, is there a hidden gem on board, say one or all of your ships? Maybe something that guests may have missed or don't even realize is there.
So I have to go back, and it's not in all of our ships, unfortunately, but I do have to go
Mhm.
back to the waterfront. A lot of people don't realize, and they just go outside, and they oh yeah, I can see outside, but they don't take the time to walk around and find those little spots where there's no noise other than the ocean. And so those those areas to me are special. You know, it can be as intimate as you sitting there and reading a book or meditate or just enjoy the view and take a deep breath and I'm on vacation, you know? This is
Oh,
awesome
that's wonderful.
kind of deal.
Yeah.
So to me, even though I had already mentioned the waterfront, within the waterfront, there's the areas that are really a little bit more intimate and more
Wow.
done.
That's
Like,
yeah. And it truly is gorgeous. It truly is gorgeous. Some folks have started copying that idea, but as far as I know, you guys were either the first or one of the first to bring that out. It's
we were
lovely.
the first ones. We were the first
Yeah.
ones to bring that on breakaway.
Yeah,
Yes.
and it's great. You tuck the light boats up underneath, got
Yeah.
a nice view looking out. And we did
Yeah.
that exact sunrise thing where we were sitting out at Ocean Blue with the sunrise
Uh-huh.
dropping down over the ocean. So it was beautiful.
Yeah. It's a
Beautiful.
it's a beautiful area. And you may, if you do take the time to walk around the whole ocean front or waterfront or ocean boulevard now in the newer ships, you'll find, you know, we have a gelateria, for instance, which not a lot of people know
Say
that
that.
they have, that we do have, because it's a little tiny corner and it's after you pass um one of the so I'm thinking of Encore, which I was just on board. It's
Mhm,
after you go past the Los Lobos restaurant, the oceanfront part of it.
mhm.
And then it's right in that little corner before you get to the main doors to go through to go back into the ship area.
Good.
It's
So
a
good.
little corner, but it's you get
Just
the yummiest desserts there.
they do, and they even have coffee. They
Yeah,
have like espressos, cappuccinos, things
yeah,
like that too. So if you
yeah.
need a little shot of something without going back inside,
Without
right
having to go
there.
back inside. Yeah,
I know. So, Lily, this has been absolutely lovely. Thank you so very much
my
for
pleasure.
coming on here tonight. And one more time, I'm just going to remind everybody, Lily has graciously thrown in a $50 onboard offer. If you book with Where's Walter Travel, any Norwegian cruise does not have to be on the group. We'd love to have you on the group. Remember, if you want to meet Rebecca, this is the only way to meet my wife, the lady of mystery herself. You have to come on a cruise because she will not come on camera. So if you want to meet her, come on the group cruise with us. But if you'd like to book any Norwegian cruise, and we've got ships all over the freaking world
All over the
and
world.
very, very different sizes and experiences. We didn't even talk about Alaska. You can go to Alaska all the way up almost to Halloween now with Norwegian,
Oh,
with a
you could.
totally
Yeah,
different Alaska
I
experience. Go see
just
the
got
Northern
off the
Lights.
ship.
Just
I
got off
just
the
got
ship.
off the ship on October 23rd. So yes,
Amazing. So this is
yeah.
all very cool. And there's Tara. When will we start to see more of Aqua? Because you notice the one thing we didn't talk about tonight is dining, because we don't know about
Not
dining yet.
not not yet. We're still waiting
Yeah.
on. See, we gotta keep you coming back to ask for
Yeah.
more, right? So
So
little
Tara,
by
there is
little.
no typical. It's whenever the marketing team feels like showing us more stuff, that's when we'll know more.
Well, the thing is that it comes out to it's still 2 years out, right?
Of course. Of
Well,
course.
a
Yeah.
year and a half out, and so there's still partnerships that are being worked out. There's
Right.
still and sometimes you can't have a partnership until closer in. So there's a lot of things that come into play.
Yeah.
Also depending on the itinerary and what, where she's gonna
True.
be on what time. So it's
Hmm.
it's not, well, we say we like to keep you coming in, coming back, but it's it's
Yeah.
really comes down to legalities and having to wait until
Right.
it's everything is set and to be able to talk
True.
about it.
Especially with the dining with the restaurants, when you have,
Yeah.
partnerships with some of these, especially with the chefs, you got to
Yep.
wait till everything is signed off on. Like, I
Yep.
wouldn't complain about a Gordon Ramsay fish and chips showing up on this thing, but that's just me. That's just me. I would love that. But again, Lily, it's been amazing. Don't go anywhere because I've got a couple questions for you after the show. But
Absolutely.
folks, Thanks so much for tuning in. Again, we try to do this every Thursday night, 8:30 p.m. And then on Sunday mornings at 10:30 a.m. We're on TikTok and YouTube just answering your question. But thank you so much for everybody for tuning in. If we can do anything at all to help you with your Norwegian Cruise Line bookings anywhere in the world, reach out. where'swaltertravel.com. There are links in the description down below to contact me and to learn much more about this amazing Norwegian Aqua cruise, May 31st, 2025, sailing right out of Port Canaveral, right up the road from where I'm sitting now. So Lylle, thank you so much for joining us tonight.
My pleasure. Thank you for having me.
Thank you. Good night, everybody.
Good night.